Welcome to Deep Thought, I versus we relationships. Now, I said I wasn't going to really talk about relationships, at least in the same way I do on my other channel. On my other channel, I'm, more street, more down to earth. But there's actually a deeper aspects of relationships. So this video and the next video, I will talk about those deeper aspects. Now, understand something. Probably the core of the problem in men and women relating in relationships, and this is a pronounced problem in a black relationship, is not understanding the I versus the we in these relationships. See, first of all, understand the very nature of a relationship. Let's break down the word relationship. It's a ship. When two people coming together, they going in a certain direction. They're a ship on a river, on the ocean. They need to know what direction they going in for it to go any place, or else they're just drifting. And that's a big reason why many relationships are failing, because they don't have any plan. They don't have any goal. You know what? They just look, the man just looks at that woman, man, she got a fat old ass. And the woman looking at the guy like, oh yeah, he fine, he cute. So they having sex, but they don't have any plans. Like, oh, and I give the credit to some women. They'll say where this is going, but even then, there's no real plan. It's basically they're saying it just to, have an idea that the dude ain't just using her for sex, or at least rationalize that she ain't using him for sex, as the case may be. Right. So that's the first thing to understand about relationships. It's a ship, and there's so much we can get deeper into that, right? But it's a ship. It needs to be going someplace. But when it's going someplace, it needs to be two people on the same accord. Hence why we have the I versus we in these relationships. When people come together intimately, and just to be clear, this I versus we goes even deeper, but I'm just focusing on the relationship aspect of it. When two people come together, they have to realize that they become that third entity. They have to share something. They have to, when you come together in a relationship, it's not just sex. Let me make that clear. It's not just sex. Even if you think it's just sex, you still sharing time. You still sharing time together. You could be doing something else. Like, even if it's a casual sexual relationship, it's still a relationship. And then, if a woman come over your place, but she could have, instead of coming over your place, she could have been studying for something. Or instead of you having sex with that woman right there, you could be working on, as a man, you could be working on something, making money. You could be doing something. Both of y'all could be doing something else. So basically, even when you come together, you sacrificing something just to be together. And then you're going to have to compromise. You compromising something. Hey, that woman might have really needed to take that test. Or she might have needed to really do well. Or that man might have $1 million idea, but he can't nurture it. Well, he pounding away happily. Now, I know some men will say, yo, that's cool. But then what's the long-term implication of that? And then when you take something bigger, let's take it to the next level. Like, say the people say, you know what, we love each other, we want to be together. It still becomes a we. It's a we relationship. Y'all on the same ship. See, all of a sudden, everything else, y'all get together, y'all either move in together or marry. Y'all still have to go in the same direction. And other things come about. It becomes a political relationship then. Once you decide you want to be that family or something, because then you have to start thinking about, okay, how are we going to handle our finances? Where are we going to live? How are we going to allocate different duties within this relationship? Who's going to take out the trash? Who's going to cook the food? Even if y'all share those duties, like, okay, well, who's going to cook this night? And then if this happens, what kind of car are we going to get? You know? How are we going to manage it if the air condition breaks down? All of a sudden, stuff that has nothing to do with just sexual intimacy comes into play. And you have to handle that like a business. You have to handle that like an organization. But you have to handle it together. Like if you got to fix something in the place, the air condition break down, one of y'all can't take that money and go to the club or spend it on something frivolous. Because at that point, it's not a we. Because once it becomes a we, see, here's the thing people don't understand in relationships. Once you come together with another person, you're no longer independent. You no longer can just do stuff in your own best interest, in your own interest. You're going to have to compromise something, no matter what. No matter how much you care about the person, no matter how much you wanted your way or the highway, you're going to have to compromise something. If it's nothing else but just spending time. See, that's a we relationship, but most people don't engage in that. Even when it looks like it should be a we. Most people are into I. You have women out here talk about how independent they are, but yet they want a mate. I was like, you got to get the word independent out of your vocabulary. Because once they go in with an I, it's all about them. And everything is colored about them. How is this person making me happy? How is this person doing what I want? How are they satisfying me in bed? How are they following my agenda? See, that's an I thing. And in fact, that's why many relationships fail early. Because once you come together, it automatically becomes we, but people resist that. You know? You got some men out there, they want to get off with the woman, but then they don't want to satisfy her sexually. They just want to get their rocks off. They want the woman to serve them and all of that. You get some women out there, hey, you know what? They'll actually say, well, I don't want to cook for them. I'm not going to cook for them. I actually had a woman tell me that. She said she wouldn't cook for her husband. And some women complain when you bring that up to them. But I'm like, well, wait a minute. You want everything. You want him to do everything for you, but you're not going to do anything for him. That's an I. That's I thinking. Whenever someone says, even though I'm with this person, I'm not going to do this, that, and the third for that person. That's an I relationship. So how you going to steer a ship? Let me say that again. How you going to steer a ship? And it's not, you got the pilots fighting over which direction it's going to go. They fighting over the wheel. He wants to dock at this port right here. Shoot, you want to just keep going up the river. Think about it. Because it's I. And then when it fails, you wonder why. It's like because y'all never became a we. I want you to think about that. Because the thing is, that has bigger implications for society. Because ultimately, all nations, all societies, all civilizations, all communities are based on we. That male-female relationship or partner relationship, whatever the case, that's a we thing. That's on a microcosmic level, right? But then those we's, that couple, it joins with other couples in a neighborhood or something, or in an extended family, and that becomes a bigger we. And the bigger the we becomes, where everybody knows their part, everybody can do something. That's when you have a functional community. But if you have a bunch of people, not just one couple, but if you have several people who are on I, things are going to fall apart. And then you're going to have chaos. If the family is the basis of a stable community, but you don't have a family, or at least stable relationships where everybody's saying, everything fall apart. See, a lot of people think that they're smart or they're better than everybody because it's like, I'm independent. I don't need this. But you don't live in a society where you're independent. No one does. Only way you could do that is find some land somewhere and you make your own clothes, you hunt for your own food or grow your own food, you make your own shelter. You're dependent on somebody else. See how foolish that sounds? See how foolish it sounds to call yourself independent? And in a relationship, if a relationship is a ship, y'all got to be going in the same direction. Y'all coming together. So if you go into a relationship and you're like, that relationship is going to fail. And sometimes even with children, it fails. That's why you know what? I see a lot of people, they'll say change their relationship status on social media or talk about I found this person. Then you don't hear anything in the next month or so. All of a sudden they disappeared. I know a woman just got married, right? Marrying this dude, and I'm like, shoot, that ain't the same dude you had one time. You know, you can't stay because people are I. You have to become we. That's the bottom line. And, you know, I don't need to say too much about it because I'm going to get into, I was going to do this other aspect of relationships for this one and how deep they are. But I want somebody just to think about that and chop it up. It's the I versus the we. For all the men and women out there, if you get into a relationship, you have to ask yourself one question. Is this person about I or is this person about we? If this person's I, you got to do this, you got to do that, but they're not doing anything for you and they're not reciprocating and everything got to be their way or the highway, there's going to be a problem. There's going to be a problem. It's not going to work out. You compromising something. And I know a lot of people, men and women, want to do that, but you can't. It doesn't work. Because as soon as two people are involved, it automatically becomes we. And if you can't respect that, if you can't deal with that, everything fails. Anything that's an I, whether it's an organization, a team, whatever, a business is a great we. It's going to fail if everybody's on I instead of we. So that's all I have today. I want everybody to keep rising and transforming. Peace.